So, pretty easy one to start with. Like, how important is Netflix as a platform for a show like The Innocents? Because this is really the heartland for your audience, isn't it?
I think it's extraordinarily important.
Yeah.
Is the truth. I think they were much more sort of supported and invested than we imagined they might be in terms of the difficult questions. We wanted it not to be just a YA show, we wanted it to be universal, but it has teen leads. We wanted to go from Yorkshire to London to Norway. We wanted to do a family drama but also use supernatural aspect. And I think they had the creative vision and the sort of the clout and heft to really embrace this very odd hybrid of a show and go, all right, we trust you to make that balance work. Off you go, you know, let's see it on screen. And I think we both feel really grateful to them for that.
Great.
All the way through they kept saying, keep telling the story that you pitched to us. They never tried to turn us off course, keep telling that story, and that's just really empowering when you're writing a show.
I think that's why they attract the good talent as well. So they do have that sort of...
Not saying that we're good talent, but you know, they do that.
The Innocents is quite a slow burn show, right? I mean, it really sort of spreads itself over the entire season. Do you think that's a risk in today's TV landscape when everything's on demand and everyone's trying to give you everything up front?
I think maybe to me it's less of a risk than if you were regimented by the wait a week, have to recap.
Yep.
I think because people tend to watch maybe not the whole show, but certainly 1, 2, 3 episodes in a chunk, I think it does give you a little bit more flexibility in terms of the storytelling. And I think we wanted to tell a story that was really rewarding the more you watch of it. And so, as you say, it is quite a slow burn. You think it's one thing and then suddenly it's another thing, and then there are a few episodes that are not standalone but certainly go into different directions. And when you get to the end, I think the cumulative effect of all of those episodes, we hope, is very satisfying.
It's something I like as well when I watch TV. I like shows that take its time, not too slow, but you know, let you wrap yourself in that world. It's something I really appreciate. So.
The show's overall message, as far as I can glean at the moment, is sort of love conquers all. Would you say that's fair? And is that like a necessarily hopeful story for 2018, being how things are at the moment?
I think we absolutely would hope it to be. I think the message in The Innocents is optimistic, it's positive. I think the drama in it comes from Shapeshifting, but the message is you've got to be yourself, even if you have the gift not to be. You've got to overcome fear, be yourself. That's a good message, I think, for young people. And then in terms of actual shifting, seeing the world literally through someone else's eyes, being in someone else's skin, how does it feel, how do they move, where do they belong? That's on a wider level, I think, in this time, which is sort of, there's lots of division and lots of hate, and I think stories that are connective, make experience universal, show you what it's like to be someone else. These are all really good, positive messages as well.
I think love the person for the person as well, as opposed to what's just presented. I think it's really important, especially these days. You know, everything can be quite sort of surface and sort of superficial. So it's about what's inside as opposed to what's initially presented. So.
Yeah, no, that's a great message. Were you inspired by any personal stories for the specifically like the secret love tryst? I mean, have you been inspired by personal stuff, or did you just want to tell a story that involved these two characters who had to keep their love secret?
I would suspect that everybody has had that moment, particularly with you fall in love and you think, oh my God, I'm the first person who's ever felt this way. And suddenly everything else just kind of pales in significance in that love story, and being with that person and what you're going to do together and, you know, how you're going to be free to do it is just overcomes everything. And for these two characters who hopefully will love for being who they are to their families, Harry for being a carer of his dad, June for looking after her brother and for being, you know, this sort of rock that binds the household together. And these two quite selfless people find each other and just go, I can't be that person for these people anymore, I've got to be myself, and come together. And I think everyone, well, I hope that is a universal feeling. It will remind people what it's like to fall in love for the first time. So I think there's a splinter of that in everyone's romantic experience somewhere.
Yeah.
Just a sort of quite a specific plot point. I'm a little bit hazy about how the stuff with the pregnancy worked and the baby.
Okay.
Is that something that you pick up on in the rest of the show, or is it something that you sort of leave to the imagination?
What did you find hazy, just out of interest?
Because when she shifted into that person, she literally had a baby inside, but then it goes away. I mean, does that baby exist?
You take on the person's physical form as it is at that moment.
Okay,
so obviously
okay.
a baby's a very physical thing. It's part of the biology of that woman. So June shifts into her, she has that baby too. And in the same way, when you shift out and you return to yourself, you literally return to yourself. So all those physical things you kind of hand back over, if you will, too.
So in the same way that physical body of Nurse Deborah is in two places at the same time, and then there's just, it goes and there's one of them. The same is true of the baby. And I think the reason that we decided to make that a point is because we wanted to really fix in on the emotional experience of that pregnancy for June.
I think what a good one to end with is, what aspects of June and Harry's character specifically do you hope will inspire young people who see the show?
For Harry, for me, being a young male in this world, just...
You're not young.
I'm not young now, you're quite right. Just being generous and just thinking about someone else sometimes, and trying to protect someone and doing the right thing and not thinking of yourself. That was really important for me, I think, or for both of us with Harry, really, is, you know, just a good-hearted young lad, a good-hearted young lad, you know.
And for June, I think she presents as quite meek and sort of, you know, unself-confident and shy. But when she gets going in this series, you sort of you cross her at your peril. And I think seeing someone really come into themselves like that and figure out, just lay a bead on going, I'm going to figure out who I am, what's been told to me, what's lies, what's true, and I'm going to commit to this boy. To see someone find strength of personality like that, we think should be quite inspiring.